Hey, it's Annie. Welcome back to my channel. So this video is 5 weekly spread ideas for your bullet journal. So if you ever are struggling with ideas and inspiration for your journal, you have come to the right place. If you are new, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn the notification bell on. This first spread covers only one side of a double page, and for this example I chose to use my February 2020 theme to show you guys, which was mountains. I started off by drawing 3 columns of boxes with 4 rows, meaning there are 12 boxes in total. All of the boxes are 8 squares wide with varying lengths, and you'll see why in a second. The bigger boxes are 10 squares long, whereas the smaller ones, the majority, are only 9 squares. The bigger ones are the topmost left, the bottom middle one and the second one down on the far right. You'll be able to notice these bigger boxes a bit more in a second. In the top left I wrote out Feb in all caps, and then in the smaller boxes I wrote out the days of the week at the top, but making sure to leave the second one down on the left blank. In that box I wrote out all of the days of the month, so I chose February 2020 as I'm using the theme for that. Then I think I did the end, but I highlighted the week in a light grey calligraphy pen, as I just chose a random one from February, the 3rd to the 9th. Next, in the top one I added some mountain doodles underneath where I wrote Feb, and in the rest of the leftover ones, which are the bigger ones, I did some other mountain doodles just to fill up the leftover space. Next, I wrote out the number dates next to the days of the week, and that is your first weekly spread finished. So now, moving on to my second weekly spread. This also only covers one side of a double spread. For this weekly spread, I chose to use my April 2020 theme, which is hot air balloons, and I will link this in the eye and down below. I started by writing April at the top of my page and also the week, and again I chose a random one from April, which is the 2nd to the 8th. Then I divided my page into 7 rows lightly in pencil, and then I drew out 7 small hot air balloons on the left of each row, and then I coloured them in using the colours from my April theme. Then, inside each of the hot air balloons, I wrote out the numbers of the days of the week inside the balloons, and then I wrote out the days of the week on the top of each row. That is it for this spread, so now moving on to the third weekly spread. For the third weekly spread, I chose to use my January 2020 theme, which was geometric Art Deco designs. This time I did it on a double spread. I started off by dividing both of my pages into 4, using this diamond Art Deco design. Then, in the first box, I wrote out the month and then the week. Then, in each box, I wrote out the days of the week and then the day of the month next to it. Then, once again, in the first box, I wrote out a mini calendar, so obviously I chose January 2020. Then I highlighted the week, and again I picked at random the 6th to the 12th. That is it for this weekly spread. Now moving on to number 4. this weekly spread, I did it on double spread once again, and I chose to use my March 2020 theme, which was tropical leaves. I started off by sticking 2 pieces of washi tape 10 dots down from the top of my page, and you'll see why in a second. Then I started drawing up tropical leaves above the washi tape, but making sure to leave space at the top for the title. Then I coloured each of them in the colours I used. So I used some beige, some mustard yellow sort of, and some different greens as they are leaves. Then I peeled away the washi tape, leaving a clean line underneath the leaves that I drew, and I separated my page into 8 in total, so 4 for each single spread, but making sure to leave the last space blank, as there are only 7 days in a week. Then I drew a dot for each day, and the centres of each dot being where I stuck the washi tape. Inside each black dot, I wrote out the day of the month number in white. For this, I used a white Uniball gel pen, which will be linked down below with the rest of my supplies. Next, 6 dots underneath where I had stuck the washi tape originally, I drew out a line. Above the line is where you can write any events, and underneath is the tasks and any notes or unimportant events or things like that. Then I wrote out the days and the month and week at the top 2, and obviously I use March again as the theme I'm using, and at the end in the last empty space I wrote out an arrow for next week. Now for my final weekly spread of this setup. I chose to use my May 2020 theme, which is flower jars, and I will link down below once again the video. I wrote out the month and week at the top, and then down the left side of the pages I wrote out the numbers 8 to 20, representing the hours in the day. This is a scheduled type of weekly spread instead of one where you list tasks and events. I also separated my page into 6 in total over both pages. I wrote out the days and the numbers at the top 2, and the right I had a section for weekly tasks and events. At the bottom I doodled some flowers in jars as I'm using my May theme. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn the notification bell on to make sure you get notified whenever I post a new video. Bye!